CIA officer and Pentagon official by training, I believe that the single greatest security threat to the United States is not coming from abroad. It's the shrinking middle class here at home, in the middle class in the first place. And this is the thing that many Democrats have, quite frankly, lost touch with. When you can't provide for your kids, you feel anger, you feel shame, you lose your dignity, and you look for something or someone to blame. That anger, that suspicion among Americans, that right there is what I mean by an existential threat. Democrats are very disparate. We're like a solar system with no sun. like we got a lot of planets, some with their own gravitational pull. We got a lot of stars, but there's like not enough cohering us. We don't act as a team, and when we do that, and when we don't work as a team, we turn our guns on each other, and it's so fruitless.
That was Democratic Senator Elissa Slotkin of Michigan yesterday, delivering a wake-up call to Democrats while pushing her party to focus on the middle class. And Senator Slotkin, we're happy to say, joins us now. She's also a member of the Armed Services Committee. Good morning, Senator. Thanks for being here. Let's start a little more with your speech there and this focus on the middle class and the idea of affordability. It's something that polls suggest the Republicans, even with a billionaire atop the ticket, they won that argument during last year's elections. Not everywhere, but they won it nationally, and they certainly won with the White House. What do Democrats need to change?
I mean, I think it's about prioritizing the economy and costs, frankly, at this point, almost above anything else, and making sure we're actually responding to the needs of the people. The November election made this very clear, even though I don't think this president is at all lowering people's costs. I think he's raising costs in a whole bunch of areas. Democrats, if you stand for everything, then no one knows what your priorities are. We have to get back to our basics, do the foundational things, job creation, housing. We should declare a housing emergency right now based on the problem. Healthcare. Is there anyone in America who thinks that healthcare is working right? So get back to the basics, focus on those things ruthlessly.
So, Senator, you obviously more of a moderate Democrat, but what you just mentioned there, cost of living, cost of housing, also were the centerpieces of the campaign in New York City for the Democratic nominee for mayor, Zohran Mamdani. He, of course, proudly declares himself a socialist, very, very far to the left to you and many of your colleagues on many issues, but yet in some ways you're speaking the same language. So my question is, what do you make of his rise? Is the party big enough for all of you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not going to pretend to be a complete expert on New York City politics, but I think the messages coming out of that election a couple of days ago seemed clear to me, which were, number one, people, just like in November, are still really focused on the cost of living, on economy and their own kitchen table economics. And number two, people are looking for a new generation of leadership. I think you're seeing that across the board. I think that's a hangover from the last presidential election. People want something different. We don't agree on everything, that's for sure. But I think those were the major messages. And so the economy and getting back to those basics is an area where a lot of Democrats agree. It is an area where we can unite. And I think that's where we need to get back to. And it just kind of no one cares about your trick plays if you don't get your basics right.
Senator, I want to talk to you about another issue that has wide resonance with Americans. As the father of a 5-year-old, it resonates with me. I'll read you your quote. We should ban cell phones in every K-12 classroom in America. Congress and the courts should hold social media companies accountable for using algorithms that get kids addicted to extreme content on their platforms. This is something that I've wondered about. Is the Jonathan Haidt Anxious Generation movement a politically viable one? Could you please explain why you decided to take up that cause in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just started to do actually a deep dive on how we should be thinking about education with artificial intelligence coming in, right? I mean, people don't get that artificial intelligence has the potential to change our economy and our schools more than the internet did. So really significant. And as I went on that deep dive, you know, all the studies that have now been done about distraction, lack of concentration, lack of people skills that our kids have, lack of critical thinking, it just really, you know, kind of pulled me in that while I'm thinking about AI, what we're really not grappling with is what cell phones phones and social media in general are already doing in our classrooms. Kids can have those things outside of the classrooms, but I just felt very strongly that the evidence was there. You want your kids to learn in that classroom, don't allow them to have their phone.
It's amazing how much that movement is catching on right around the country, including in red states, by the way, that are also trying to ban cell phones in classrooms. Can I turn now to international affairs? Senator, a week ago you had some very tough comments to about the defense secretary around Iran. I don't know if you saw the press conference that he gave yesterday where he was berating the media. I'm just wondering what you made of that press conference and what questions you still have of the administration. As a former intelligence analyst at CIA yourself, you try to make the best assessment of how far we managed to destroy Iran's nuclear program.
Yeah, so I'm a former CIA officer and Pentagon official, so we finally got our briefing from Secretary Hegseth, Secretary Rubio, the director of the CIA, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs yesterday. All senators got that brief. It was very well attended. It was classified, so I can't go into the details, but I think what was important to me is that there's been significant damage done to the Iranian program, and I think that's a positive thing. The battle damage assessment, the true understanding of whether something was destroyed and how many years we set a program back, that's going to take a minute. And anyone who says that, oh, this is exactly what happened, either the president of the United States or someone who's a critic of the president of the United States, if you say you know what happened already, you don't understand how intelligence works. It takes a minute. And we're going to see. We're going to have to figure that out. I think in the meantime, though, there's damage to their nuclear program. There's also damage to the psychology of the regime, right, of the government. They have no air defenses on top of Iran right now. I mean, it is vulnerable, more vulnerable than it's been in my entire lifetime. That changes a country. So I think we need to wait. I was glad they finally did a briefing. It was very obvious that the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, was not there, which is unusual. But I'm just going to withhold judgment a little bit when it's something as important as intelligence and military battle damage.
OK, Democratic Senator Elissa Slotkin of Michigan, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Senator.
Thank you.